Hey yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy Aceox! And I'm back. I'm back with another reaction. This time I'm going to react to horror games on the Wii by Zerk. Our man Zerk is once again back on this channel. We're gonna react to one of his videos. I'm excited. I liked the Wii. I really liked it. It was not good when it came to the quality output, but it had some good games. Yeah, it had. It did. Horror games on the Wii. I'm not sure if we saw something similar to this, but I'm pretty sure we already talked about horror games on the Wii at some point, but I don't know, I don't care. I'm gonna talk about it again. Yeah. So I played stuff like Ju-on Haunted House Simulator, I think it was called, and The Calling, and Fatal Frame, I think. Was it Fatal Frame? I don't know. Metroid Prime. I mean, that definitely counts. That counts as horror. Yeah. So and also I played. Goddamn, I played so many games back in the day on the Wii. I played Silent Hill: Shattered Memories. I played Cursed Mountain, which is also coincidentally here. Can you see it up here? There it is, yay! I played that one a little bit until I got bored. I just got bored. Yeah. And to me, the scariest of them all is actually from Wii Fit, a mini game where you're supposed to sit still on the Wii Fit board and you sit in front of a candle in a dark room on the screen, and some spooky stuff happens. You hear people breathing into your ear like and footsteps and the light flickering and butterflies and shit flying around. That's some creepy stuff. That's some really creepy stuff. Yeah, that's the scariest. That is the scariest thing ever. Hell yeah, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. Yeah, cause it is. It is really scary. Very spooky poopy, if you may. But yeah, Zerk is gonna talk about some horror games on the Wii today, and we are all here for it, to react to it. And obviously you're all here to hear me rant for 2 hours consecutively while I'm still only 5 minutes into the video or something like that, and hear me rant about some random ass stuff like, I don't know, like penises being godly, heavenly, if you will. Heavenly shit. Hell yeah. Small penises? Even more so, but penises in general. Hell yeah. And the good nutter butter that comes out of the penis. That's some good shit. That's some good shit. You agree, right? Yeah. Otherwise, why the fuck are you watching me? If I don't put respect on my man's penis, then we can't talk. We can't talk, motherfucker. But yeah, yeah. Come on, calm down, Aceox, calm down. Yeah, like I said, we're gonna watch horror games on the Wii by Zerk. Before we start, like always, go into the video description, click the first link in the video description under the credits tab to get to the original video by Zerk. Leave him a like, leave him a comment, tell him the penis is the spookiest ghost ever. And that the jizz is the ectoplasm. Ectoplasm everywhere, like, ah! Tell him that. And obviously subscribe to him. We've watched a bunch of his videos already and they're all good. His naming is I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep ranting about it in every goddamn reaction I do of his videos. The naming of his videos is abhorrent. Abhorrent. He does not use any indicator as to which video came first. So he reuses the same title for everything, and it makes it difficult because I don't even remember which ones I already watched and which ones I didn't. So please, sir, please, come on, man. Put some numbers in or something. I just gotta know which one came first so I can remember which one I watched and which one I didn't. Please, I'm begging you, please. I'll even suck your cock and your balls and your pussy. Nah, he ain't that based. He ain't based enough to have a pussy. Fuck you. We're just gonna have a big dick. Big dicks go to hell, as we know. So yeah. No, but that's it. That's the intro stuff. I should really stop myself before I continue yapping for 10 minutes. It's already almost 7 minutes in, so shit. Alright, so I scrolled up, I zoomed out, and Mr. Bean is looking at us. Beautiful. Beautiful. And someone is dying out there. That was the emergency fucking hospital car. ambulance, there we go. That's the word. Ambulance. Hospital car. The car you drive inside a hospital. Like, all the dementia patients be like, and then drifting around the corners and shit. While the goddamn caretakers are trying to catch up with them on foot. Hell yeah. That's some good ass shit. But yeah, let's shut the fuck up. Let's listen to Zerk. He definitely has a lot of stuff to tell us about horror games on the Wii. And we are all here to listen to him, not me. Listen to him ramble, not my rambles. Because my rambles don't make any sense, while his rambles make a little bit more sense. Not a whole lot more, but still a lot more than what mine do. I think I just said the exact opposite and then backtracked it. Damn. Well, anyway, let's start. So, without further ado, here we go!
Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. So
hello Zerk!
I know what you're thinking. The documentaries did win the poll. Don't worry, that video will be out next week. But man, these documentaries are heavy to watch. But in the meantime, let's look at the second option, which is
I didn't vote, so I don't know.
On the Nintendo Wii. So I recently did a video game covering horror games on the DS where I was actually able to play most of the games.
Haven't seen that one yet.
Unfortunately, it's a little bit more convoluted with the Wii, setting up a device that replicates the platform. And also obtaining these games probably put me back
a dolphin emulator.
$1,000. Nintendo Wii horror games for some reason are so expensive, and I'm not willing to put out the money for them.
Yeah, just download them.
So luckily I can give my insight, but this video will be more of an informative one instead of opinion based. So sit back, relax. I'm going to tell you about some horror games that maybe you haven't heard of that came out on the Nintendo Wii.
Well, let's take a look. Let's take a look, and I'm sure I know some. The one in the middle seems familiar, but I don't remember. They all look familiar. I think that the left one, the one on the far left, maybe Ju-on, but it looks kind of better than I remember. The one in the middle, I think that's Cursed Mountain. Isn't that from Cursed Mountain? And the one on the right, I don't know. It looks familiar, but I don't know. I don't know. Alright, so maybe I'll know all of them, maybe not. I guess we'll find out. Sometimes he has stuff on his thumbnails that doesn't appear in the video. So yeah, it could be anything at this point. I don't know. So let's find out. Let's find out. That's why we're reacting to it, right? Or do you want to hear me ramble on for fucking, I don't know, 3 hours about penises and vaginas and small balls and big balls? No, you don't. I know you. You don't want that. You don't want that. And I hate you for that, man. Just let me talk about jizz. Come on, man. Throw me a bone, man.
So let's.
The one in the middle is like me, like,
I did play back in the day, so I can kind of give you my opinion on them. I've covered this game before, but I'm going to bring it back up again because it's...
Yeah, Ju-on.
There was a horror game released
on
Nintendo Wii named Ju-on The Grudge, or The Haunted House Simulator. Ju-on The Grudge is a horror game developed by Feel Plus, and it was published by AQ Interactive, released in 2009.
It was a scary game.
Japanese horror films, which
actually really scary.
They're so iconic, with the same name, Ju-on.
Hell yeah, true classics.
To be more of an interactive horror experience rather than a traditional game, focusing on replicating the feeling of being in a horror movie. Also,
I think it definitely achieved that.
Some unique features that break them apart from other horror games that you could play on your Xbox per se, that make them different on the Nintendo Wii.
Xbox 720.
Features about the Wii obviously is...
Don't, I remember. This just gave me flashbacks to the time when the Xbox 360 was a thing. Everyone believed it's gonna be the Xbox 720 afterwards. Because they thought, okay, oh yeah, 360 for the graphical output, so it's gonna be 720, because that's the future. That's the future, man. That's gonna be it. It's also like with the Nintendo 64. I think people thought it's gonna be the next one is gonna be the Nintendo 128, I think. Completely unsubstantiated, just, you know, because numbers. It made sense at some point, I guess. Maybe. Who knows? But yeah, I remember that time. That was a dark time. I also remember the prototype for the original PS3, the controller. That was weird. there was like a boomerang, and I always thought that's like one of those mock-up idea things, you know, like rumors and stuff like that. But no, actually, I heard that was actually a prototype, like actual. It wasn't a mock-up made by a fan who thought that's what it's gonna look like, what the future of gaming is gonna look like. No, apparently the goddamn boomerang controller was actually a thing. It was actually a prototype made by Sony. What the fuck? What the fuck were they thinking? Editor AceoX, put up the picture of the controller I'm talking about. What were they thinking? Just look at this. What the hell were they thinking? I can already tell you without even ever having touched it. I can already, you explain to me the way it looks, and I'll just tell you straight up. No, that's not going to be a good controller. I can tell you that. I wouldn't even have to look at I'm not even looking at the picture right now, because, you know, editor AceoX brought it up, put it up there, not me. I'm reaction AceoX. But yeah, I don't even need to look at it. I can already tell you that controller would have never worked. It would have never worked. It looks really uncomfortable and shit. And weird. Back in the day, those were some crazy ass times when a new console released or was about to release, and people were speculating left, right, and center what everything could be. I also remember that sort of stuff for the Super Smash Bros. Series, where people made fake character select pictures, and we were all like, oh my god, I'm gonna play as Super Sonic and as Shadow the Hedgehog? Damn, game of the year! Game of the fucking year right here, son! But yeah, that was some good stuff, yeah. Hell yeah.
The motion controls. And Ju-on uses those to a point where it used to scare the hell out of me when I was a kid. Basically, you use
it as a flashlight.
And I used to play this game with the lights out. I used to sit there in front of
big mistake.
And I used to just hold my remote out, my hand shaking like Luigi in Luigi's Mansion. And I was absolutely terrified of this game as a kid. I was so scared of it, in fact, that I couldn't even get through the first mission. And I sold it back to GameStop. I talked about this before.
Damn.
I'm so mad that I sold it because
I don't remember him talking about that.
I have this game in my collection.
He sold it.
But also, it is so expensive to buy back.
Yeah.
It's such a regret.
That's why I got it.
I feel like I sold it out of
on different ways.
Another fun part about this game is that it had a co-op feature where you gave someone else.
Yeah, he talked about.
And they would click.
All right, okay, I seem to. Holy fucking shit! What the fuck, man? That's some creepy ass shit. Jesus! Get the bitch off my screen right now! What the fuck, man? This spooky, man. Stop looking at me like that. No, but I remember that he talked about, you know, playing the game and stuff like that and how expensive it was. But I do not remember him talking about that he actually pussied out and sold the game because he was too scared to play it. But he also explained the jump scare feature for Player 2, which I did not know because I have no friends. I always play games alone because I have no friends, unfortunately. That's not a joke, by the way. I know it sounds like one, but it's true. I'm too different. I'm too weird. No one likes weird people. Not even I like weird people. Even though I'm the weirdest of them all. That's reality, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, I remember him talking about all that stuff. Yeah, sort of. Alright, let's get that stupid ass, creepy ass bitch off my screen, man. Get the fuck off my screen, bitch!
Buttons, and they would jump scare you. I remember playing this with my brothers. It was so much
Go away.
Fun, but unfortunately,
there we go.
My little baby brain was mad at the game and sold it back. The thing is, when this game did come out, it actually got mixed to negative reviews. Critics appreciated the game's atmosphere and faithful.
I mean, it was clunky and slow, but
elements, but they found the gameplay to be super simplistic and repetitive. And to that, I will say it is.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
But as you know how gaming goes, a really dog shit game can release in the past, and then like 5 years later, everyone just considers it a hit. Which honestly
happens a lot.
Fair to the developers that this happens.
Yeah,
but because
it's kind of fucked up.
Has attracted a very neat.
That's also something I absolutely hate about music, the music industry. People that die, their music get, you know, they can make music while they're alive and have no success whatsoever. And as soon as they die, chances are people are gonna be like, "Whoa, damn, he was the best, and listen to him and buy everything." And at that point, it's like, that person can't benefit from it. They spent their goddamn lives trying to reach people and didn't manage to do so. And now when they're dead, suddenly people care. That's something I always hated about the music industry. It's just fucking, goddamn it, it's so unfair, man. But yeah, that's a similar situation when it comes to video games, where games get absolutely bashed when they're freshly released, and many years down the road, suddenly it's a cult classic and an underappreciated gem. And yeah, just, I don't know, just be fair to it when it came out, and everything's fine. Don't be a fucking bitch. A bitch that, I don't know, asshole. I'm very mad, boy. I'm very mad.
Niche audience of horror enthusiasts, I actually have seen a resurgence of this game. A lot more people are talking about it because it is such a weird little niche thing that came out. But yeah, if you have a Wii and like $100 to spare, get it out, I guess.
Hell yeah. There we go, Silent Hill Shattered Memories.
Yes. The next game that I played, and this is where it ends for games that I have played. Luckily, I did not sell this game back. It is actually currently a part of my collection right now.
I love it. I love this game.
Because, once again, this game is expensive. So Silent Hill Shattered Memories is a psychological horror game that was developed by Climax Studios and published by Konami. Released in 2009, it is a reimagining of the original 1999 Silent Hill game. It features a completely overhauled storyline, characters, and gameplay mechanics. The game follows Harry Mason, which sounds like a joke.
Well, first of all, hold on. I love the game. I especially love the little, gimmicky features on the Wii. I don't know, it was also a PS2 game, and was it? No, PSP. Or something else. I don't remember, but it was, and the mini games were kind of different, you do them with the controller and stuff like that. But on the Wii, you use the motion controls, and that's something I really liked. It was really gimmicky, like pulling down the car's window by grabbing the thing and spinning it, or pressing a button and grabbing stuff and opening it and stuff like that, and grabbing a key, I remember faintly. But I don't know, I think it kind of added to the charm of the game. But what I definitely agree with others is that it was kind of weird if you think about it. The game was split up into explorer mode and running away from monsters mode, which was kind of shittily done, because as soon as I realized that there aren't going to be any monsters while you explore stuff, while everything is still not frozen, it's still unfrozen, then it takes away from the tenseness, the atmosphere, the creepiness. And I think that's definitely where they fucked up big time. But I mean, I would play the game even if it had no monster chase sequences, because the exploring and stuff like that, and the way the world is designed and stuff, and how you can interact with things, is just, I don't know, I find it very beautiful. Creepy as fuck, like me, but also beautiful, like Chibi Doki. Yeah. So yeah, I think that was a big mistake by the developers' end. But I mean, like I said, I even played a lot, even if it had no monsters or stuff like that at all. But it was just the exploring stuff, because that shit was good. That was good. Maybe I'm way too easily impressed with stuff, but I liked it. I enjoyed it. I think that gave it its own charm, because I like the Silent Hill series in general, but I think this one, I like it the most, even though it is one of the rare instances where a Silent Hill game isn't kind of a Silent Hill game, because it's just so different, It's just completely different. Yeah, but I love it.
Name, as he searches for his missing daughter Cheryl in the eerie town of Silent Hill. Unlike the original game,
I like the psychological aspect to this game.
Elements with the story and environments changing based on the player's actions and decisions. The coolest part about this game is the intro. Basically, the game begins with a psychological profile questioning. It continues to adapt based on the player's responses and behavior, altering the game's events, environments, and characters. So let's say you and your friend, you meet up at school the next day, and you might have completely different stories about what you saw and what you experienced. Now, unlike the previous Silent Hill entries, this game has zero combat. Think of it like an Outlast. You have to hide, you have to run from your enemies, and it really does create like a constant sense of vulnerability throughout the game. Now, overall, I wouldn't say Shattered Memories is the scariest Silent Hill game, but it definitely is the most interesting in my opinion. It was super ambitious with the way it has a dynamic world and everything changes around you. And I actually found the Wii controls to be quite intuitive in a clunky world of Wii controls. This very niche.
It was surprisingly good.
I don't know if you guys have ever heard the game Her Story, but basically the director of Silent Hill Shattered Memories, Sam Barlow, also made the game Her Story, and he also had some part in the game Silent Hill Origins. I'm actually
but Origins isn't that good.
Video of playing every single Silent Hill game, so eventually I'm gonna have to get back around to playing this one. But until that time comes, I'm still on Silent Hill 2, and it is a banger. I love it. Silent Hill Shattered Memories received very positive reviews when it came out. Critics praised its innovative approach to psychological horror, the effective use of the Wii's motion controls, and the game's atmosphere and storytelling. However, there were chirps of some longtime fans who were divided over the departure of the traditional gameplay mechanics, so I can completely understand that aspect. Unfamiliarity kind of messing with your perspective, but overall, I think it is a great game. I don't think removing combat adds or takes anything away from the game. I feel like it's its identity, it's its own thing, and I think it's awesome. So overall, this is
I agree.
Just playing it, no matter which way you can play it. This game also came out on PlayStation 2, PSP, PlayStation.
Okay, so it was on the PSP.
Check out the game, and I definitely recommend doing it. Now we are going to be moving into the category.
Hold on, did you just say PSP and PlayStation Portable? Zerk, buddy. The PSP is the PlayStation Portable. That's what the PSP stands for. P for play, S for station, and P, the second P, you know, being for portable. It's the same thing. So maybe you're confused with the Vita, but the Vita wasn't a thing back then. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a stupid man. I gotta take every chance I get to show that I know some stuff. Come on, man. Come on, man. Let me have that. Let me have that, please. I'm gonna shake your hand out as a form of gratitude if you let me have that, okay? I'm not even gonna bother with all the penis stuff, like offering you my penis and stuff like that as a form of gratitude, because I know you don't respect that. So I'm offering you a handshake, a somewhat firm handshake, maybe a little sweaty, maybe a little noodly, but a somewhat firm handshake nonetheless. If you let me have that, let me have this moment where I can shine and everyone is like, damn, he knows something. He knows something. One thing. And he does not know anything else, but he knows that one thing. Wow. Beautiful. Insane. Alright, I'll take a quick break. I'll be back in a second. Alright, I'm back. And hands down, the best video game feature ever conceived by mankind definitely goes to press X to either scream, Jason! 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 Or Sean! 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 And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Heavy Rain. Perfect. And if you manage to get the bug where you can scream Sean during cutscenes while you're holding Sean, best shit ever. Best fucking shit ever. Best gameplay mechanic, best feature, best gimmick, best everything. If I had to pick one thing I could take with me on a deserted island, it would be that feature. So I press X and I scream, Sean! Sean! Jason! Jason! Hell yeah, that's what I would do.
Category of games that I did not play, so this will be more informative.
Alright, yeah, Calling. There we go.
Called Calling. And this one really pissed me off. I wanted to play this game so bad just because one of the main features of this game, you use your Wii remote as a phone.
Yeah, as a phone, yeah.
Remember when you...
Dude, I probably already, definitely told that story some time ago, but I'm gonna tell it again. I played this game when I was a stupid kid and I was new to horror games because I was a big pussy back then. Even bigger pussy than I am today, which is, wow. How is that even possible, right? Yeah, exactly. And I was so scared of it, but I wanted to continue playing. So I played it, I got scared, I pressed the C button and there is there's a very specific chance encounter, kind of like an Easter egg sort of, where a really creepy face appears. And definitely, I talked about it in the video because I remember I put in the actual picture to showcase it. So if I find it, I'm gonna put it in here right now. And that happens at random, at a very specific point in the game, I think, because it never happened ever again afterwards. When I forced my mother to play it for me, while I watched. Yeah, I told my mom, please play this for me. I'm too big of a pussy. And please don't press double Z, because you have to press it twice to make a quick turn. And it never happened to her. I told her, okay, do it, because she didn't believe me that thing happens. And she did it a lot of times and it didn't happen. And I was like, damn, but it happened to me. It happened to me. I swear. And for many years, I felt like I was going crazy until I talked about this exact story in one of my reactions, I think to a previous Zerg video, actually. And found the actual picture of what I was talking about. And I remember many years before that, I tried searching it up, but never found it. And I had a lot of difficulty finding the picture at all, because unfortunately calling isn't really that popular. It wasn't that popular. It still isn't that popular of a game. I don't know why. It is actually a really good game. I really like it. It's really tense. It's really scary. It's woo. But yeah, it never got much love. So there isn't much documentation about it on the internet. And finding just one frame of that goddamn stupid ass Easter egg ghost thing was so fucking difficult. But eventually I found it and put it in the video, and I'm gonna put it in this video, or I already did put it in the video. But yeah, this game, it felt like the game gaslit me. You know, I experienced something and no one could replicate it, and for many years I could not find any trace of something like that being in the game until, you know, I made the reaction video and found actually the picture. And yeah, that was damn. But that's also why I like the game, because stuff happens and no one experienced it, and I'm like, did I hallucinate that shit? Am I going mental? Am I going mental again? Should I call the doctors in white so they put me back into my padded cell and into a really weird, uncomfortable, constraining jacket and be put under heavy drugs and shit like that, so I don't flail around my arms while I'm being strapped down on a fucking bed and shit like that? Should I call them again? Yeah, but I love this game. It's very good. It's very spooky poopy, if you may say so. And you may say so that it's very spooky poopy. And yeah, like I said, I forced my mom to play it for me because I was too scared. She wasn't scared at all, I think. But I remember I was hiding behind a pillow and stuff like that, and had it very close to my face, so whenever something spooky happened, I could just, you know, pull up the goddamn pillow right in front of my face so I don't have to see it. I was a goddamn pussy back then. Damn.
You would play with your Wii and oh, that did not sound right. When you would play with the Wii and then you would hear this little voice come out of the shitty
yeah, play with your Wii.
I always thought to myself that it kind of sounded like a really crappy phone. And this game implements exactly what I thought, and I'm kind of upset I haven't been able to play it. Calling is a psychological game.
Just download it. Come on, man.
Released in 2009.
Who cares nowadays?
It revolves around a mysterious website known as the Black Page, which allegedly causes the death of anyone who visits it. Players take on the roles of various characters who become trapped in a limbo-like world after visiting the site, and they must uncover the truth behind the Black Page to escape. So the Calling definitely is the most interesting game out of all the ones that I looked at today, just because of the Wii Remote phone aspect. I think the remote being used as a...
I mean, I'm not gonna talk shit about his opinion on that. It wasn't really used that well, in my opinion. I played the game and it wasn't that great. I'm not one to talk. After all, I really liked shared memories, exploring stuff. So much so that I would play just that part of the game and not the rest. So, you know, the gimmicky exploring stuff, picking up stuff, interacting with stuff. So I'm not talking shit. I'm not talking shit. I don't know. I don't have the right to talk shit about him thinking that feature makes it the most interesting out of them all. But yeah, I can kind of see where he's coming from. But the feature, you know, the phone feature in the game wasn't used that well, honestly. Phone calls happen quite rarely in that game. Maybe not quite rarely, but still somewhat rarely, and there isn't really anything really happening. It's just sounding creepy, and it's just back to playing the game. But what I give the game credit for is the fact that once you hear the phone ringing and stuff like that, it sends shivers down your spine because it reverbs in the halls and it's really creepy sounding, and you're like, damn, no, it's loud, stop, you're gonna tell the fucking ghosts, gonna give away my goddamn location to the fucking ghosts, man. And there's one part in particular where the girl, the red spirit girl, I think, the main antagonist in this game, where she she continuously gets closer in the beginning. I think it is when you're in the school level, because she apparently wants to bring you your phone. You lost your phone, so yeah, she's just being nice, guys. She's just being a nice girl, trying to bring you your phone. But it's so creepy because she sounds creepy, and she announces every time she's a floor closer, and that's creepy. She calls you, and then she's like, ground floor, and then hangs up, and then you walk and continue, and then she's like, she calls again, and she's like, first floor. And that's kind of creepy, also with the ambience and the reverb and stuff like that. Yeah, and also really shitty sounding speakers on the Wii remote. That definitely added to the creepiness factor. So yeah, it is a cool feature, but I wouldn't say it makes that game the best of the, or the most interesting of the bunch, because I think Shattered Memories is still so far the best, or the most interesting. And the most horror-like I'd say is the Ju-On game. But Calling is a close second, you know. It's really good. Yeah, I like it. Some of the puzzles are shit. They're really nonsensical at some points, and really a lot of backtracking and stuff like that. But yeah, it's still a good experience. Just, you know, play it. Download it, play it on the Wii or an emulator. Turn off all the lights, make it as dark as possible. Play at midnight or something at full volume, and just jizz in your pants. Be so scared that you just jizz everywhere. That's what I do. And I don't need to be scared to do that. I can jizz whenever I want. Hands free, motherfucker.
The cell phone in the game really enhances the immersion by like allowing players to receive calls and hear these ghosts through the speakers of the remote. Imagine playing that.
It's cool. It was cool.
That is insane. One of the cool.
Yeah, that I agree. Yeah.
Numerous references to Japanese folklore and urban legends. And if you know you know my channel, that's right up my alley. I love urban legends. When the game was released, it received mixed reviews.
Yeah, unfortunately.
The atmosphere and the way the Wii remote was used, but they were talking trash about the pacing and the occasional technical issues. But overall, it has since developed a cult following among fans, and I can see why completely. Just watching some gameplay of this, it looks so much fun to play in a dark room.
But I'd still argue that it still deserves a lot more praise and a lot more attention, because even though some people are talking about it nowadays, it's still not enough, which is weird because, I mean, PewDiePie even played it back then when he was huge, when he played, you know, Amnesia and stuff like that, and he played also Ju-On, and that kind of made it popular, and he played Calling, I think, and it still didn't get any traction, which is so disappointing, man, because that game, I wish more people played it, because it is definitely a very interesting experience and a good example of, you know, how tense a video game can be, as to, you know, if you compare it to a really scary movie, because everyone's like, but it's so gamey, it's video gamey. But that game is video gamey as hell, but it's still one of the creepiest experiences you'll ever have. So yeah, definitely play it, and I hope maybe it can get more traction, because it is slowly getting there, but I feel like it deserves a lot more, because I think if more eyes were on it, it would have been one of the most influential horror games ever. But unfortunately that didn't happen. So yeah, horror games went a different route, got inspired by different things, which is a shame, because this game definitely deserves some praise and attention. So yeah, it is getting more traction, but it deserves way more, in my opinion.
With some friends over. Now let's move on to our next game.
Alright. There it is, yeah, Cursed Mountain. So I remember correctly the face, yeah.
Cursed Mountain is a survival horror game developed by Deep Silver and released in 2009.
Oh, Deep Silver.
In the Himalayas, the game follows Eric,
that island,
a mountaineer searching for his lost brother. As Eric ascends the mountain, he encounters supernatural forces and uncovers ancient mysteries. Off the top of my head, I can't even think about how many games take place in the Himalayan mountains. So overall, the fact that is
Far Cry was set in that.
The rest of the horror games, not just on the Wii, but just in general. Instead of focusing on Western supernatural themes, this game actually incorporates elements of Buddhist mythology and rituals. So
really? I think I played the first part. Funnily enough, the parts he's showing are from the beginning of the game, and that's pretty much all I played, because I played it was kind of clunky to control, and I don't know, the pacing felt really off, and smashing pots and stuff like that, and a ghost popping up or something, I remember. That's about it. Yeah, I wasn't too impressed with that, and I think hold on, I think I stopped playing because it crashed. I think it crashed. Because, you know, back then I used legitimate means to play the game. Chillax, Nintendo. I used legitimate memes. I definitely did not use the homebrew channel and burned it on a CD, the ISO file. I definitely did not do that. No, I'd never do something like that. Come on, man, you know me. But yeah, I think you know what I'm getting at. But I think it actually the reason I stopped is because it crashed afterwards. Once you get through a gate, I think in the beginning level of this game, I think that was one of the reasons, and I couldn't fix it. I didn't know what the issue was. I still don't know. So yeah, I think that was the reason. But yeah, it wasn't that impressive in the beginning. Didn't hook me instantly, so I didn't even try to get it fixed somehow, find a fix for it. Yeah, but that somehow just resurfaced out of nowhere. Very interesting memories. Strange shit how that works. Hell yeah. Sucking dick on the streets like a king and eating pussy like a peasant. Fuck you, dicks for life. But I don't like dicks. I only like pussy. But still, dicks for life. Yeah.
Where developers actually conducted extensive research on Buddhist mythology and culture to create an authentic, respectful portrayal. So when the game was
alright, I did not know that.
Received very positive reviews, mostly praising its atmosphere, its unique setting, and its incorporation of Buddhist themes. The only downside that I could really find online were that the controls were a little bit clunky at times, but honestly, what wasn't kind of clunky on the Wii? The thing that's
true, but it was just so stiff.
Images and watching some reviews is the enemy design. This looks absolutely insane.
Damn.
Definitely seems like a really creepy atmospheric game. So if you're a fan of those, I would say check this one out. And if you have played any of these, definitely
I should definitely revisit it.
Super interested to hear what you think about these games. So now let's move on to the next game on this list.
Alone in the Dark? No, Manhunt 2? What? Manhunt 2?
So I
what? What? That's not a horror game. I mean, it has some horror elements, but it's not a horror game, man. It is easily one of the most brutal games ever, just from the sound design alone. Especially the second one is just, the sounds, man. The sounds of the executions and stuff. Oh, Jesus, man. But yeah, Manhunt 2. I did not expect that to be on the list. I gotta be 100% honest. I did not see that coming at all. That's a stretch, man. That game is a stretch. You can't really, I don't know, maybe a psychological horror game, because the second game has like, I don't know, like MK Ultra sort of experimentation stuff, themes and voices in your head and stuff like that. But yeah, I wouldn't call it horror. It's just brutal game. It's a murder simulator. But yeah, I love it. I love the Manhunt series. I want more. Please, Rockstar, please stop being pussies and give us the real brutal shit. You know you want to. You know your fans are degenerate pieces of shit like me. So give me that. I wanna murder people in video games in the most brutal ways possible by shoving my dick through their goddamn ears, puncturing their brains. That's what I wanna do. Just like they did to this one dude in Scary Movie 1 with the glory hole. The glory hole scene. If you know, you know. Penis through the ear. Yeah, that scene is legendarily funny.
I actually lied to you guys. There is another game in here that I literally just remember right now I actually did play. And I was trying to keep these games exclusively to the Nintendo Wii, but I already broke that rule by talking about Silent Hill, so we're gonna
Silent Hill is shared memories wasn't different.
So Manhunt 2, just talking about it might get my whole entire channel demonetized. And I don't even know if I would really consider this game a horror game, but there definitely are some elements.
It has, exactly, like I said.
About this game when buying it. One, I had to lie to my mom and tell her it wasn't that fucked up. And two, I remember the GameStop employee reminding my mother how fucked up this game was.
Well, I had it easy. I had it a lot easier. Because in Germany, you still cannot buy it. Still cannot buy it. It's on the index. It's banned. It's banned in Germany. So yeah, the first one, the second one. So I had to resort to downloading it. Otherwise, I couldn't have played it at all. And I think I started to play it, but I was more interested in watching someone play it because I had some issues with the homebrew stuff as well. And I did not like the censoring in the Wii version. Yeah, and since it was so difficult to just, get my hands on any copy of the game, even online, I just resorted to watching stuff about it. But it's really one of my secret interests in video games. My secret guilty pleasures. Hell yeah. Just indulging in super murder. I think the first one was a lot cooler with the snuff film aesthetic, with the music also really tense and sci-fi, more like 80s sci-fi feeling, and very ambient and just a lot darker, while the second one has a lot more, way more graphic and brutal executions, a lot more of that variety. But yeah, I like the series. But yeah, it is banned in Germany still to this day, because is it already 20 years old? If it is, then maybe no, it's not. No, it's not. I think once games on the index hit the 20-year mark, they get unbanned basically. They get scrapped off the list, and then they can be resubmitted, which rarely happens, but it happened for Evil Dead, the first Evil Dead movie. It happened, and it was re-released here in Germany, officially unbanned. And yeah, I think the Saw movies also had stuff like that, but at that point, no one really cared. So yeah, this game has, and it's probably just gonna get banned again, because the rules aren't as strict as they were back then when it came to, censorship regarding video games, especially in Germany. But they still have the aspect of unnecessary glorification of violence against human enemies, if I'm correct, which is a reason how they got Dead Island 2 censored, so you couldn't, dismember the corpses after they're dead. And in Dying Light 2, you cannot dismember the human characters at all. So yeah, that's unfortunately still a thing that's being censored, violence being censored in video games in Germany. But at least I gotta hand it to them. At least it's not as bad as it was when I was, as a kid and a young teen, because they banned everything. They banned everything and censored everything. I mean, just look at the censorship in German Half-Life. Just look at that. That's pathetic. That's pathetic, man. That's fucking pathetic. You shoot them and they sit down and really contemplate their lives as they fade away. They don't die. They sit, they open the third eye and fucking disappear. What the fuck, man? But yeah, Manhunt. Yeah, fucking brutal. I hope it gets remastered. I mean, they don't have to make it too gory, with too much detailed gore. I think what really made the game as brutal as it is still to this day is the sound design. Because that Jesus, it feels real. It really feels and sounds real. Didn't look real even back then, because just look at it. You can pretty much count how many polygons there are. But yeah, good shit. Good degenerate shit. Murder. Hell yeah.
Dude was really trying to throw me under the bus. He literally was like, have you seen it on the news? There's kids killing each other in real life because of this.
Damn.
Bro, calm down.
Yeah, asshole.
Went home and I cut someone's head off. I think what made this game so controversial is just you're basically performing the act of actually killing someone. It sounds crazy out loud, but it's really not that deep. Obviously, video games make people violent. Violent people are just violent. That's how it is. And another thing
it got all the flack for really glorifying it. It does not in GTA and stuff like that. They always could argue that the game does not glorify it because if you kill someone, the police is gonna go after you and stuff like that. You can have wanted stars, and in Dead Island, I think they argued, for example, that your weapon breaking is punishment for that sort of stuff to dissuade you from unnecessary mutilation and stuff like that. Many games had these things to fall back on, to be like, no, we're not glorifying it. See, we're actively dissuading players from doing stuff like that. But Manhunt indulged in it. It completely indulged in the unadulterated hyper-violence the game presents. And it does not give a shit. It does not shy away from everything. It does not punish you for doing that. No, it wants you to do that. It rewards you, especially the first one. It rewards wants you to be as brutal as possible. That's not a joke, by the way. To get the best score in each level of the first game, you had to basically kill the enemies, as many enemies as brutally as possible by really charging up, you know, the execution meter until it's red and then going at it. So yeah, that's mainly why even Rockstar Games don't stand behind these games anymore. Or back then they felt icky. They said they felt icky. It felt wrong to them because the whole game is basically praising you whenever you're killing someone in the most brutal way possible. So yeah, that's what made it different from GTA and stuff like that. Because, you know, back in the day, even nowadays, still people argue that GTA glorifies violence, which I know, yeah, sure it does, but it also dissuades you from doing certain stuff, you know, by punishing you. While Manhunt did not punish you at all. It punished you when you decided to not be as brutal as possible. So yeah, and that's also why Hatred, for example, got all the flack, because it pretty much does the same thing. It encourages violence instead of, you know, saying no, violence bad, but kill 50 people to get rank A. Yeah, so that's why Manhunt got in trouble, because that game did not give a shit. It said, yeah, kill people, kill them in the most brutal way possible, and you'll get the best rank. And Hatred did the same. Kill as many innocent people as possible, and you're gonna get a good score or something like that. Yeah, it's not the fact that they are violent, those games, it's the fact that these games are actually encouraging you to be violent inside the game, at least not in the real world. But yeah, that's why I know that stuff, because I wanted those games, but I had to dig through a lot of articles, a lot of stuff that happened when these games were released, just to realize that, okay, if all these countries are already making these points, then Germany is never going to allow this game to be released. And yeah, at some point I had to call it quits and accept that it's not gonna be released in Germany anytime soon, and then I just, you know, downloaded it yet. But yeah, I know that I dug my penis deep into this topic to figure out what the whole hubbub was about this game, you know.
Being so disappointed about this game because the executions, they put so many filters over the screen just to get this released, that I had
unfortunately,
no idea what the fuck was going on the whole time.
Yeah. It's just, you know, just looking at it. Ah, goddammit.
Describe it is.
I feel sick. I can't see shit.
Laser light show. I had no idea what the fuck I was hitting, but I was hitting something. So I'm sure I don't need to tell you how controversial this game really was when it came out, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
They had to censor the shit out of it.
So the first one, which was super controversial in its own right. Around that time, Rockstar Games was really pushing the envelope for things that could be released on games, almost laughing in the face of the media, and honestly, I was all for it. So the original...
Yeah, but no, they definitely at some point really regretted it. They all talked about, you know, in behind-the-scenes stuff and footage and interviews and stuff like that, that they really regretted working on these games. It wasn't really to, you know, laugh in the face of the media. It was more to explore, you know, how far can you push things. And with Manhunt 2, they found out exactly how far they can push stuff, because this game was not going to be released with anything other than the adults only rating in America, which is really rare for a game to get, especially when it concerns just violence. Usually it's about, if it contains porn, then it's obviously adults only, but getting adults only rating for just violence is still very difficult. And they pushed it so far that they actually had to, you know, censor their own game the way they did in Manhunt 2, so it does not get the stupid adults only rating, because in America there's also, most stores don't carry adults only stuff like media, movies, games, stuff like that. So yeah, they had to censor it, and to get it released on the Wii at all, they also had to additionally censor it, because Nintendo was like, no, you're gonna censor the shit out of this game. So yeah, they definitely pushed the limits to its, well, absolute maximum, and found out exactly how much violence they can put in a game before they cannot get away with it. Yeah. So yeah, there was more like to try and figure out where the lines start and end. And definitely, probably in the beginning, they also kind of. I think that the first one was mainly to piss off the people that especially rallied against GTA, the GTA series back in the day, and tried to get it banned and stuff like that. And I think if I remember correctly, they made the first game just to spite them, you know, just to be like, oh, you think we are encouraging violence in our games? Well, let's see what it actually looks like when we encourage violence. And then they made the first game, and the second one they really did not want to do. But the first one was so popular that they kind of had to, and the second one they definitely regretted, kind of, is what I'm getting from the interviews back in the day and even nowadays and stuff like that, and the behind the scenes footage. Like I said, I've seen a lot of Manhunt content, and yeah, they talked that they really felt icky after the first one and felt even worse while making the second one. Yeah, because they put it pretty well. They said, you know, with GTA you could excuse some of the stuff and, you know, brush it away. While with Manhunt, there is no excuse. There is no excuse. The whole point is just to indulge in violence, nothing else. Yeah, so it's a very interesting topic. That's why I like the Manhunt series, because I like controversial stuff, controversial games especially, because I like the discussion around it, you know, seeing all kinds of angles and seeing where people come from, what arguments they bring with them and stuff like that, and just seeing everything play out. I find that so much more interesting than just a normal game being praised or a shit game being hated. No, I like the controversial stuff because it brings very interesting topics with it. It's good shit. It's good shit. I'm gonna take a quick break again. I'm talking too much and my goddamn gastric juices are going insane because I'm currently getting free of my what is it called? I don't know what the English word is, but it's a a pill that reduces the gastric juices by 50% right from the get-go. And I took it over 10 years and realized, oh, I'm not supposed to take it forever because it can have some really bad ramifications if you do that. So yeah, I decided to quit it, and now I gotta deal with the rebound effect of my gastric juices being produced even more than what is normal. So I'm having acid reflux and stuff like that all the fucking time, but it's gonna get better. Just gotta push through it. So I gotta take a quick break and let my stomach settle and calm down, and then we'll continue and finish the video. Alright, okay, see you in a second. Alright, I'm back, and I just realized something while I was vaping. Yeah, I was vaping. Even though my gastric juices are going insane, I gotta vape. I'm addicted. I got it. And I realized something. The Manhunt series has always been like the absolute maximum of what I like when it comes to dark and brutal games. Because the examples, for example, what I like are, for example, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, Harvester, Manhunt, obviously, like I said. You know, those types of dark, brutal games, really dark stories or gameplay features like a Manhunt, or just, you know, the absolute insanity and the brutal scenes in Harvester and stuff like that, and the wacky crazy world. Postal is also pretty cool. I also like the first one for its atmosphere, because it's just damn insanity, especially the loading screens is like damn. But there's definitely those games are, especially Manhunt, are on the edge of what I enjoy as a horror enthusiast. There are definitely examples of games I think are just disgusting. You know, I don't like them. They go too far. I think they have no value. Like, for example, Super Columbine RPG, was it called? The JFK assassination video game simulation thing. Stuff like that. It's just, you know, it's obviously either just for shock or to be edgy and stuff like that, and I see no value in that. They're exploiting actual tragic things that happened. And also like KZ Manager, I think games like that are absolutely disgusting. So I'm definitely not a horror fan that likes everything, you know. There are things that are too far for me, just from a moral standpoint or graphic standpoint, and the games I mentioned, for example, are clear-cut examples of things that I consider in very poor taste, very valueless, other than, you know, shock value or edginess. And Manhunt and I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream and Harvester and games similar like that, also Postal, like I said, are on the edge of that, but still in the category of what I would say is what I can still enjoy and see some value in, but it's really on the edge, you know. It's really on the edge of the line where I draw, where I draw the line, what's too far and what isn't. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that. I don't like just brutal and disgusting stuff. I have my own set of rules, and yeah, these games are on the edge of that, but yeah, they're still okay in my books, is what I'm trying to say. But the other games I mentioned, no. No. That's something I don't see any value in, it's just disgusting. Yeah, let's continue. Let's finish this video actually.
Manhunt 2 was actually so violent that it initially received an adults only rating, and that is a huge no-no. You do not want an adults only rating. So
it's not gonna be easy to sell that stuff.
Rockstar actually put several alterations to the game, including blurring the execution scenes and toning down some of the violence. And yeah, they really blurred it. I know there's some mods on PC where you can release it, but I was a Wii child stuck on the Nintendo Wii.
And as far as I know, the complete uncensored version for Manhunt 2 does not exist, I think. There is an uncensored-ish version in quotation marks. You can't see them, but I'm making air quotation marks. But as far as I know, the real uncensored stuff, and also, the version with all the later cut content does not exist anymore. I think only a somewhat uncensored version exists, but the real completely 100% uncensored original vision of the game, if I'm not mistaken, it does not exist anymore. They have never distributed that, and I don't even know if they have that version anymore. You can play it somewhat uncensored on PC and stuff like that with mods and restoring that stuff and turning off the filters, but some things are, as far as I know, already baked into the game, so there is no way to, some of the filters can be, if I remember correctly, just turned off, on PC, because they're actually just like an overlay, but some things are baked into the game, and they cannot just be turned off like that, so that's what I mean by 100% uncut. That version does not exist as far as I know, because it is baked into the game to a certain degree. The censorship, unfortunate, but I mean, the PC version is fine. People removed some of the filters. The Wii version is unplayable. Yeah, like I said before, it makes me really sick just looking at these filters, because it's just so disorienting. It's really, it makes me actually sick. Not like it makes me sick to see my games getting censored. No, it actually makes me sick. It makes me nauseous seeing those filters in action, because it's just too much. Overload your senses, bitch.
You see what I did there? So yeah, I had to look at that. And even as a kid, I remember the storyline was also really dark. The story follows Daniel.
Yeah, the first one was a lot darker in my opinion.
A fellow inmate, and along their journey, they uncover a conspiracy involving unethical experiments. The game's plot involves themes of insanity, mind control, and psychological manipulation. This game is very psychologically, mentally taxing. If you play it, just keep that in mind.
That's true.
And like I said before, the game received
more so than the first one.
Media attention. Many news outlets and public figures condemned it for its graphic violence and potential impact on players, particularly younger audiences. And because of this game, some
it was extremely controversial.
Regulations on video game content and questioned the impact of violent games on real-life behavior. In some regions, Manhunt 2 actually...
Yeah, actually, the first Manhunt had quite a huge controversy. There we go. Someone actually murdered someone, if I'm not mistaken, and attributed it to being inspired by the game. So it wasn't actually just, that people saw that he played the game and came to the conclusion that he was inspired by it. I think he actually mentioned that he's doing the stuff he played in Manhunt 1, which made the second one even more surprising that it even came out and was even more brutal than the first one, because that's a huge controversy to have in regards to a game. Normally, that means there's not gonna be another game in that series, but Rockstar, like I said, back then they said, fuck it, we're gonna do it anyway. And yeah, so the first one definitely inspired someone to commit crimes, so there was definitely a point somewhere in that, and it definitely put a lot more eyes on Manhunt 2 than it would have if that person didn't commit those crimes by being inspired by the first game. So yeah, it got a lot more eyes and a lot more critique than it probably would have if that didn't happen. So yeah, that's why Manhunt 2 was fucking burned. It was burned left, right, and center. Did I just hear the door? I'm busy. But yeah, it was burned left, right, and center by pretty much everyone, even their own developers. So yeah, it's a very interesting case, and I really suggest you look into it because it really everything surrounding it was just really interesting in my opinion, because so many things happened, so many things were said, so many, you know, it was influential in a really extreme way, you know, the game series, and that's something I find interesting. Yeah. So yeah, I suggest you research it because it really is interesting how it changed the gaming landscape, and you know, especially the rating boards and stuff like that, how the rules apply, and yeah, it's interesting.
It was just outright banned. They said you're not even touching our children. What? I really need to start scripting these videos because what just came out of my mouth?
Yeah, what was that, man?
Classification initially refused to classify the game, effectively banning its sales in the UK. It was only after significant cuts and alterations that the game was eventually released in the United Kingdom.
In Germany, it was not released at all.
It was not to stock the game due to its controversial nature.
Tonight, a violent video game pulled from store shelves.
Manhunt 2 has been the target of criticism since its release a week ago. Now Target is doing something about it. The Minnesota-based retailer...
okay. I thought, hold on, did they just say that I had a target on them and then they put a actual target, an overlay on the screen? But no, okay, they're talking about the Target, the shop, right? I was like, come on, you can't beat down the nose. That's really goddammit. But no, okay, now I get it. Okay, I get it now. I get it.
The game today, and Jason DeRush explains what it is about this game and why another local.
But despite the controversy, Manhunt 2 has maintained a cult following among fans of the horror and stealth genres.
Manhunt 1 even more so.
In video game history, as
the second one isn't that liked by
content in mainstream gaming.
Fans of the series.
We can classify this as a win for us because they did have to censor a lot of the game just to get it released. I can make a whole video about this game.
I mean, is it worth it? I don't know.
When it comes to the history of video games and the ESRB rating system.
Yes.
But you know what? Yeah, maybe I might.
That's what I said. Yeah.
And yeah, with that being said, guys, I really hope.
Yeah, do a video. Make a video. I'm gonna watch it.
Documentaries. And quickly, like I always do, I just want to thank you guys for the amount of support you've been giving me. I really can't believe our channel is growing this much. Did I say munch? I can't believe our channel is growing this much. Each and every time I upload, I love reading all of your comments, and I can't wait to read them on this video. If you made it this far, in the comments, randomly say, let's say Eggs Benedict in the comments if you've gotten this far.
All right, write that. Write that in this comment section.
Some new horror games that you haven't heard about, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night, great day, and peace.
I think I heard about everything. So yeah, I know it. But yeah, Zerk deserves all the love he can get because he's doing a really good job. I really like his videos. I really enjoy them, and I hope you enjoy them too. Because if so, then subscribe to him, obviously, and leave him a comment and a like and everything. But yeah, that was Horror Games on the Wii by Zerk. Once again, a really good video. And unfortunately, I already knew every game that was on the list, but doesn't matter. I like to indulge in horror stuff and lists about horror related media and stuff like that, and it was still really fun. Yeah. But before I end this video, like always, go into the video description, click the first link in the video description under the credits tab to get to the original video by Zerk. Leave him a like, leave him a comment, tell him Eggs Benedict. That's what he wanted you to say, and what I want you to tell him is Manhunt? That's kind of sexist, don't you think? Why not Woman Hunt? And now that I said it, I know why. Now I know why. I take it back. Let's just call it Human Hunt. That sounds even worse. What the hell? Tell him that. And obviously subscribe to him. He deserves it, like I said. He's really entertaining. He's a really entertaining dude. And he makes some good videos. So leave him a subscription to show your support. And in my comment section down below, tell me what you want me to react to next. Maybe another video about Zerk, maybe about something else, by someone else, for someone else, with someone else, penis someone else, I don't know, you name it. But try to tell me a specific title or anything like that, you know, if it's about a topic I'm not familiar with, I don't know what to look for, you know, I don't know what's good and what isn't. So definitely try to help me out in that regard by being specific, or I can pick out something myself like I've been doing mostly on this channel. Or I can do both. So let me know which one you prefer, maybe even both, and I'm happy to oblige either way. This has been the Small Penis Man. Small Penis Man out. Manhunt? More like, I'm gonna hunt your man for his penis. Holy shit, he did not say that, did he? Say, oh my god. Yeah, but no, seriously, I like vagina. I know I keep saying that I like penis, but I actually like vagina. Though, if Chibidoki had a penis, damn, that would be perfection. Damn. Delicious. Ultra super mega kill. I'm not gonna hack too on that thing. I'm gonna spit acid on that thing. Cause currently I've had a lot of acid in my goddamn stomach. Goddamn, what the fuck, man? Shit, man. What the shit, man? Bye.